Good evening, welcome back to Frugal Outdoors with myself, Dylan. Check it out, man, look where we are. So we got to go down all of these steps, you can see it all the way down there. But we're fishing Alum Bay, right by the Needles, and as you can see, the Needles look stunning tonight, and the sea looks amazing, so I can't wait to get down there. And it's the first time wearing a woolly hat this season. There's no specific target in mind for tonight. We're just fishing and hoping for the best. I've got a multitude of different types of rigs. So far I've got some sardines and some squid, and I'm going to be joined by Nobby from Slamfish Isle of Wight later, with Ben as well, and he's going to bring some extra bait, potentially some joey mackerel, and hopefully some blueies as well. So we're going to have a go, see if there's a big ray about. We're going to have a go, see if there's a big conger around. There potentially might be a bull huss. I'm going to fish with one big bait all night tonight, and then I'm going to just muck around with them. Sometimes I'll put a big bait out. There's always a chance of bream down here, so I am going to have a little go for a bream. As you know, I do love a bream. But anyway, let's get down these steps, let's go and get set up, and then I'll bring you back when we get down there.
Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want to know. Secrets start.
Right, so as always, thank you for stopping by. It is massively appreciated. I do quite often say it, but I do want to remind everyone that I really do appreciate you all stopping in and spending some time watching these videos. But yeah, while I'm waiting for the other guys to turn up, obviously I'm going to get everything set up and hopefully get a couple of baits in. So as I was saying, I am probably gonna, while it's light, I'm gonna chuck a 2-hook flapper out on my lighter of the 2 Daiwas. My Daiwa Air Surf, still a 4 to 8 ounce rod, but it's just quite a lot tippier. And I really like it. It's probably my favourite rod, in all honesty. My favourite rod to date. And then on this one, the red one, it's a little bit of it's a heavier rod. It's still a 4 to 8, but it's a much heavier rod. I'm basically just going to fish a really big bait on it all night. So to begin with, I'm probably going to put a sardine fillet and a squid wrap on this one on a pulley pennel, and then we'll just stick a 2-hook, one up, one down, with little strips of squid and see what's about. I have got a couple of buoys right in front of me. It's going to be one of two things. It's either a net or hopefully it's a string of pots. But they're not very far out, so I'm definitely gonna have to stay to the right. If it is a net, it means it's a complete 90 degree to the beach, which kind of makes sense if fish are traveling up and down the beach. But anyway, such is life. I don't want to walk too far down the right hand side. Here feels like as safe as place as any. You do have to be wary of the landslides here, but let's give it a go. Worst can happen is we won't catch any fish and we get to look at the Needles all night, at least until it gets dark. Fishing with 2 different types of line tonight. I'm trying a new line, which is the Sakuma Night Crystal. It's £25. It's the same as my other one. I've got £25 this time on my other reel. Both with a £60 leader. The Asso K-Night is slightly lower diameter, and this Sakuma was obviously slightly thicker diameter. But one thing I have found is it's definitely easier to tie a knot with a Sakuma, and also it feels in the hand. It's less supple, but it does feel like it's stronger. So hopefully we'll find out tonight. I can say that because we're bound to find a snag or two here tonight, and my spare spool is loaded up with £50 braid and a £60 leader, so if I break off with one of these two, I'll go onto that. But hopefully, like I say, I really hate, this is why I stopped using leaders, because I hate leaving line in the sea. So I stopped using leaders for a long time, which I did take some criticism for. But being is when you don't use a leader, it always snaps at the rig. You know, it snaps on your clip, your rig clip. I'm not leaving 6 meters of line out there. And I really hate the thought of leaving line out there all the time. It absolutely drives me nuts. So yeah, I stopped using it for ages, but then I started getting a little bit better with my cast, and then I started every now and again, well, it happened twice in the same night, where I snapped mid-cast when I tried to swing the lead up a little bit further behind me. And ever since then I've put leaders on, because you know, I don't want to be taking anyone out. But enough yakking, let's get some bait on the rig and let's get fishing, shall we? Oh, I'm really excited to fish tonight. Like I said, I'm fishing with Nobby and Ben. I haven't fished with them for probably 4 or 5 months when I had my PB Smoothhound. And since before then, it was probably another few months. I've only fished twice with them this year. And I do like fishing with Nobby because he gives me plenty of tips and advice on how to fish certain venues. I mean, he's been fishing these venues for 30 years. I've been fishing them for 3 years. So let's get some squid on a little 2-hook, 1 up, 1 down. Kracken sea baits, of course. I have to. I'm fishing with him tonight. So we got some nice C6 squid, which look absolutely epic. And while we're there, we'll get out a nice sardine as well. I haven't fished with sardines for ages. I only normally used to fish with sardines, targeting rays, and I actually haven't targeted a ray, I think, since February. So we do definitely have a chance of catching one tonight. Hence with the fish baits really, and a pulley panel. I have got some dongles as well, so if I start snagging up or I'm struggling or anything like that, like I say, I have got some dongles, so I have got loads of different rigs. I've got some Pompey loop rigs, but initially I'm going to try and keep it as simple as I can. I'll leave my box there because I'm going to fillet that sardine. So I've got some already used bream rigs here that I've been using pretty much for the last 3 sessions. I've been out twice since doing my last video and haven't recorded. That's got a nice little kink in it. Just to give myself a little bit of a breather from it really, but also because I did a bream video and I've been out bream fishing twice since, and I didn't think you'd want to see another 2 videos of me bream fishing. So I didn't bother taking the camera. I did get into some more bream. I fished Yarmouth Pier and I fished Fort Victoria again in the Solent, both in the Solent. One, obviously a pier mark, nice and easy venue, and then back to Fort Victoria, same as my last video. But yeah, I've had quite a few bream. Nice sizes as well. So yeah, that freezer is getting stocked. So by the looks of it on this one, just got a couple of glow bees on the top and there's nothing on the bottom, just a plain hook on the bottom. Size 1 chinoos, 1 up, 1 down. No crimps, just tied, so I've got a knot keeping my swivels in place. Got some strips of this squid. I'll zoom in on this anyway so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm thinking while it's light, it makes sense to chuck a quick bream rig out there. So really nice tough squid, nice thick tubes, so they're not all soft. So I'm not going to bind that on, just pop it on like that. Fishing here as well, it's very rarely do we get a lot of tide. It's pretty much bang on west facing when you fish Alum Bay, and it fishes up and down. It's 6:30 now. Low tide is at about, give or take, 9 o'clock, maybe just after. So we're going to fish all the way down, and then we're going to fish back up for a couple of hours. So we get that sort of turn of the bottom of the tide, which should hopefully produce a fish or two. Definitely a chance of a bass down here, fishing in close. The last time I fished here, I didn't have a lot at all, to be honest. But as they say, no two sessions, no two tides are the same. That's it. I've got a lead lift on, only because I've got some in the box. But it will help me to get over this reef. Basically, we're fishing over quite a sort of reefy area. Bit of weed, bit of reef. So I'm hoping we can get off the bottom and then just up and out. There we go. So as you can see there, nice little bit of squid on the top. Same on the bottom. Let's just flick this out, maybe 70 yards. Not gonna give it a big heave-ho. And then we're fishing. My finger stall is still wet from when I use it on a Sunday. It's Tuesday now. So let's get a bit of a drop on there. Just going to chuck this one slightly to my right. Give myself space for my other rod. Let's say I'm not going to belt it though. There we are. One's in the water. Chuffed. Actually chuffed just to be fishing, not even to catch a fish at the moment. So yeah, what I've done as well, like I say, because this is what I would call a lighter line, this K-Night, I've put this on my lighter rod. But anyway, there we go, let's go. There we are. Don't think it's going to be too long till I'm going to have to put some lighting on. But there we are, one's in, let's get the other one sorted. So the next rig I'm going to use is, like I was saying, pulley pennel, a 3.0, 60 pound, nothing too heavy. It's got a 3.0 big mouth extra and a 3.0 circle hook. I know Nobby's fishing a lot heavier than I am tonight. I think he's got some 100-pound rig body and hook snoods and stuff like that, but I'm not fishing that heavy. Let's get a 6-ounce gripper. Right, so let's fillet a sardine. I'll try to make sure I don't get my hands in the way. Obviously the trick with any sort of filleting is to have a pretty decent sharp knife. I do like my knives, not just for fishing, but bushcrafting knives as well. My filleting knife at home is like a razor, and I've quite often got bold patches on my arm because I strop it on leather, and I only use it when it's sharp enough to take the hairs off. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to take my knife just behind the gill plate, straight down, start turning the knife, hand on the top, and then just come through, just like that, keeping the pressure on the top, and then that is going to give you a nice fillet. And then all we'll do is we'll just take the tail off, cut that one off so we've got all the guts and everything. We're not wasting any of that. And there we are. Right, let's get a bit of squid with that and make a nice wrap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off the head and guts, and that's going to go with one of those fillets, and then take out the old sort of backbone of the squid, which is basically like that little strip of plastic, as I'm sure you all know. Cut my remaining bit of squid, which is left over from my other baits. Maybe starting it roughly about 1 inch wide. Gonna trim that sardine down just a little bit. Plonk my squid on the skin side. Get my bait tool in there, and then we bound it up. So the neat little sort of parcel this is going to make, all of the lovely oily sardine juices and guts are all on the outside, and we've got a nice strip of squid running on the back of it basically, and that's going to enable me to I'll put my hook in that so it'll be nice and firmly held. And the squid should hopefully slow down the crabs a smidge. We'll see. It's nice down here, really nice. So there we go. So quite a few wraps on that. Look at all the blood coming out of there. Lovely. So that is a nice bait to go on my pulley. So I'll get my 3.0, my main hook. I've left quite a decent tag on my knot there. Just literally just catch that, and that is sticking out really, really proud. Ready to catch a nice strap conger eel, a nice big dogfish. Who knows? I just like to catch something. Plenty of bait elastic around that knot and that tag. That's going to stop it from moving. Snap it off, and there we go. And it's just a simple case of putting that 3.0 circle hook into the bait, pull my line through my bit of tube in there, and there we are. A nice fish and squid wrap to chuck out. Well, the guys are here now. Clearly they think I smell because they're setting up about 100 meters away from me. But let's get this out anyway. So I've just been and got some bait. Nobby and Ben are here now. So I've also got some lovely little joey mackerel and a pack of small blueies as well. So I've got absolutely stacks of fish baits. He's basically saying he's going to fish with fish baits and squid to begin with, and then he's just going to go on straight onto joeys. Nobby only fishes with one rod, but he did also give me an envelope that's been dropped in to the shop. I spoke to him on the phone, and he said a gentleman brought in an envelope with a couple of handy little sort of books with some tips. There's a letter, no, I won't read it, but it looks like some really good reads. A comprehensive guide to seeing freshwater fishing on the Isle of Wight. How cool is that? And then we've got another one there, fishing in and around the Isle of Wight. So that is absolutely awesome. I'm going to spend some time going through this and seeing what I can take from it. But such a lovely gesture, so thank you ever so much, Paul. That's absolutely wicked. Very, very much appreciated indeed. And I'm going to waste a few hours having a look through those when I get back. Thank you. So it's starting to get dark already, so I'm gonna have to get my lights and head torch and stuff sorted out shortly. So I've just got another rig sorted there in a way, which is another pulley, and I'll probably for the minute I think I'll just alternate between these 3 rigs, 2 big and 1 small bait, and see how we get on. Nobby's got his brolly, which isn't a very good sign, because I haven't got a brolly. Right, let's get some lights. Just quickly before we do lose the light, I finally got my hands on a Fenix. Quite a few people often said, why don't you use a Fenix, why don't you use a Fenix? Because let's face it, I think in the fishing world, they are pretty much the top brand that people go for. And I've got my hands on the HM61R version 2. Now it's like one of those sort of torch style head torches. Comes with a whole bunch of accessories in there. You've got the sort of pen clip that will go on there, so you can just stick it in your pocket. And on this one, just there, that gold bit is where the magnetic charger goes. So it's a USB charger, obviously, and then that just goes on there. and then comes with a head mount, clips in, and then obviously you can tilt it to whichever direction you want. But the thing I like about this one, which is true with most of the Fenix head torches in all fairness, is if we switch it on and then we hold the power button, it goes to red. It's actually got a red one, so that's perfect for trying to get out doing some, if you're trying to keep the light down when you're sole fishing, bass fishing, or just in general really trying to keep the light down. 4 modes of power, and then as you can see there, lighting up the beach, which is really going to annoy Nobby and Ben, is the turbo, which is really, really bright indeed. Really nice little head torch, quite light in comparison to another one recently that I had a look at, which I did actually give to my stepson because he does a lot of camping, and I think that head torch personally I think is more suited to camping and hiking. This one certainly I think is more suited to fishing. The Fenix HM61R version 2, not the version 1 but version 2. I'm not sure what they retail at. I think it's about 90-ish pounds. I think the battery life is really good. Again, on the minimum setting, it's going to last some 20 odd days. It's a ridiculous amount. The second setting, which is what I'd probably have it at, which I'd call medium maybe, it's over 24 hours or something silly. So it's a really, really long lasting head torch. But anyway, enough yakking. Let's get this on my head. Let's get some tip lights on. Let's get some lamps on, and hopefully we can get a bite. Well, there's definitely a bit of tide out there. It's not moving my stuff around at all, but it's definitely moving right to left. And I've got completely stripped hooks. Could be a case of just trying to find that one bite tonight. So I'm just reeling in. Ben's just taken one of my rods, moving down the beach ever so slightly. So I feel a little bit out on my own over here. Got no one to talk to, apart from you, obviously. It'd be nice to have a little catch up with them. Right, there we go. Right, so when you come back, be a little bit further down the beach, hopefully where we can find some fish. Been fishing for maybe an hour-ish. Not a sniff as yet, but hopefully that will all change shortly. Right, rebaited. Let's get them back out. Got to remember where this buoy is. Right, over there. Plenty of space. So just put a whole squid this time and half a sardine. Let's get that out. Should be able to leave it out there. Baits are getting hammered by the crabs. So hopefully this will last a little bit longer. Right, well these rods have not moved. So I'm gonna do away with that flapper now. I'm gonna put out a nice couple of big baits. Nobby's just had a nice pull on a sardine. There's no bait left on there anyway. It's been probably sat out there for 15 minutes. Just had a nice bite on a sardine. And like I was saying, Ben's already had a fish as well, so, and both of them are fishing with one rod. I got 2 rods out there. I've been fishing for longer and I haven't had a fish. So let's see if we can change all that. Right now, it's nice and dark now as well, so with any luck, something interesting might come along and take one of these baits. So this is the first one that I'm going to chuck out. As you can see there, really nice, juicy sardine fillet. And I think this one's got squid head and guts. So let's get this out. There we go, that's that one. And then the next one that's going to go out is half a bluey. I'd say I'm going to fish with these 3 pulleys now. Just go through big baits, big baits, big baits the next couple of hours. Basically, as we go over the bottom of the tide, and hopefully through the turn of the tide as well. Because I'd like to think that that might be a sort of time where maybe a few fish might come out to start feeding. So there we are, and that's half a small bluey. But even though I'm fishing with quite decent sized baits, I'm only using 3.0 hooks. It is a big mouth extra, but it's still quite a small hook in comparison. Nobby over there, he's fishing with single 6.0s and a single circle at that. So it's quite interesting to see how different people fish, different styles. Ben, oh, just got a bite. Getting a bite. Ben's fishing a pennel as well. So I've literally only just cast that out. It looked like I was getting something having a sniff on that straight away. But right, let's bait up that other pulley. So I've got a spare one, and I'll just alternate through those 3, mixing up the baits. We've got sardines, we've got blueies, and we've got joeys. There we go, look. Yeah, and this is the time I'm going to try and fish really hard now for the next 2 hours. Hopefully we can get a bite. Well, we're getting a bite, hopefully we can get a fish. I think I'm going to bring it in and have a look. I have a feeling it was probably a strap conger, but it hasn't moved since, so whatever it is could have turned the hook, could have messed everything up. So I'm gonna have a little nose. We've got another bait ready to go anyway, and let's just see, because if it's not fishing, there's no point in it being out. There's a little bit of weight there, you know. No, whatever it was came off. Could have just been a crab on there or something. Not sure. Oh, hello, what was that? Oh. Yeah. Little eel. Little eel. Thought as much, didn't we? Well, there we go. We're not blanking, but we're certainly not breaking any records. Let's chuck it in. But there we are. We've got the first fish anyway. Ooh, interesting. So Nobby just had a massive slam, pull down bite, and then went over in his hand. I think it was a big conger, but he had it on a pout head. Actually, it was the fish that Ben caught. And he's just said to me, if I've got a spare rod, which I kind of have, they're both fishing with one rod, maybe I should chuck out my lighter rod, just with some 2-hook flappers, and see if we can't get a couple of live pouting to use for bait. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to bait up that rig again. I mean, it was getting stripped so quickly before, but maybe this time I'll actually bind it on and we'll see if we can't winkle out a pouting or two so we can all use some as bait. So there we go. So what I've done is I've actually bound the squid on this time just to give it a little bit of a helping hand, and on the top there I've got the pop-ups, hoping that it will get it off the bottom, and if there's a pouting swimming past, it will just hopefully nail it. I won't put it out very far. Those pouting aren't really normally out very far, so we're getting pretty close to the bottom of the tide as well now. So it's due really to get that bottom turn. So there we go. See if we can't pick up a pouting on that one. I think I might have just picked a little bit of weed up on my left-hand rod. It's a bigger bait, but there's some movement there, but it doesn't look like a bite. Maybe it is, I don't know. It looks more like weed, to be honest. So what I do need to do is check that line when it comes in, because there was a massive ball of frayed. I've checked my eyes, there's no... Thought maybe like one of my eyes was fractured or something and it was just catching the line on the way in, but I think it might have just been when I was fishing at Fort Victoria, because you're quite often dragging it through a lot of the rocks, or certainly over the ledge it scrapes all the way up. So I'm hoping it's just that, but it's not good that I've got some frayed line, because it means obviously I've got a bit of a weak spot. So I'll have to bear that in mind. If I do get anything weighty, I need to try and play it. Yeah, so I've just spotted it as I've come in, and I've felt it, and I've got a massive frayed part of my line. So, excuse me. Oh, choking on a hobnob biscuit. So I'm going to take that spool off. It's really not worth fishing with it and risking losing a decent fish because I've got a weak spot in my line. So I always try, if I can, to bring out a spare spool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check these eyes again in the light, because that's a pretty nasty fray. I don't know why it would do that so far up my line. There we go, quick changeover. Now we're armed up with some braid. I'm gonna have to re-spool that. I've literally only spooled it the other day as well. Never mind. Well, we've got 2 whole joeys out there at the moment, and they haven't moved. I've done a few casts with the blueies. I haven't chucked any sardine out there for a little while, so I'll probably do that. I might chuck just maybe a single squid bait out there on its own, and maybe just a straight sardine in a second. I've got a bluey ready to go, so I'll chuck that out now, and then I think I'll have a little mix up. I haven't tried any squid on its own. I mean, we've all had a fish. In fact, I think Ben's had 2 actually. But certainly it's not been very prolific, but that tide should really be about to turn. It feels like it's been on the bottom for quite a while, but it doesn't look like it's started to push back in yet. There's an awful lot of crab activity out there as well, so whereas normally you could probably sort of leave a joey out there for maybe sort of 40 minutes. I mean, the joeys are a little bit better because they're a bit firmer, but the blueies and sardines are just getting nailed because they're obviously quite a soft bait. I think I'm going to bring this one joey in. See what it looks like, and have a little mix up. is try and entice something to come along. Let's try and change it up. Oh, that's so different using braid. There we go. Look at that. That was a whole joey. There's literally nothing left. Maybe in the water for 25 minutes. So yeah, there's definitely a few crabs out there tonight. But we'll just keep fishing. Fish on through. Keep chucking fresh bait out. That's all we can do. And you never know, at some point we might get lucky, we might get a fish. Well, it definitely looks like the tide's turned now because my leads have moved to the right. There's me saying you don't get a lot of tide down here. And they've massively moved. So let's bring this one in. It's not been out there for very long. I had a couple of what I thought were pulls on it, but because it's got the braid, this is the braid one, so I've forgotten just how much it moves around. Got a bit of a tangle there. But also how little give when you reel in, like it's instantaneous. Oh yeah, totally baitless. Yeah, real struggle trying to keep up with those crabs tonight. But we'll keep going anyway. It's 10 o'clock now. So I've been fishing for basically about 3 hours. This isn't very long really, but it would have been nice to see something for our efforts. Apart from a little strap conger, we haven't had anything. Right. Well, it's now pushing 11:30. I'm still only on that one strap conger. It is a fish. Of course, we'd like another one, so I am going to continue for a bit. I'm going to do away with this flapper now. We gave it a go, tried to get some bait with it, and it just wasn't going to happen. So, got plenty of bait. I'm just going to fish with some big pulleys and see if we can't bag something. That tide has started to push up, so with any luck it might switch something on now. I've said that before once already this evening and nothing's happened, but you never know. Well, I've got a nice double squid to go out in a minute, and I'll probably have another couple of casts. Like I said, they're not lasting very long out there anyway, and then I'm probably going to knock it on the head. I'm going to have a little quick chat with Nobby, see what he wants to do. But yeah, been very slow for us. I mean, Ben's done really well. Like he's had 5 fish out tonight, strap congers and pouting, but it's definitely outfished the pair of us. But like I say, we'll give it another couple of chucks just in case. There we are. Massive double squid. Hopefully it will last a little bit longer. And this is what we're dealing with. These guys. Really big velvet swimming crabs. Now, 4 or 5 of those makes a really nice pasta dish. It's quite limp. They really don't like getting dragged through the water like that at all. And then again, look, literally nothing on there. Whole joey, just getting absolutely nailed. They're just relentless tonight. That's been in the water maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, it's hard work, very hard work. I'm going to chuck another couple of baits out anyway. And there we are. That is the last bait to go out. It's a whole joey mackerel and a whole squid wrapped together. I've only just put that double squid out, so I'm going to give these basically 15 minutes. 15, 20 minutes, we'll see. But yeah, hopefully we can get something on the very last cast. But let's get this in anyway. And yeah, just keep our fingers crossed, really. It's about all we can do at the moment. It's been pretty dire. Well, there we go. Oh, what a hard session. Yeah, packed everything away. Just obviously still got to pack the camera away. I can only apologise if you've made it this far. That there was nothing really to show you apart from one strap conger. It wasn't a blank. I've had a really nice evening. I've been down here with some buddies and it's been awesome because I haven't fished with them very many times this year at all. Only twice so far this year. So it's really nice to have a catch up. But the session, well, we came out with the hopes and dreams of hopefully getting into a big conger, maybe a thornback ray, maybe a bull huss. I mean, I've been fishing with quite big baits all night. I threw the flapper out at the very beginning, try and get a bream. And then since then, I've sort of sporadically chucked it out for maybe 2 or 3 casts just to see if I could pick up a pouting that I could use for bait. But yeah, I couldn't even do that. Ben, right next to me, pulled out a couple of pouting and also a few strap congers. But yeah, for us, wow, just that one strap conger. So yeah, back to the drawing board a little bit, I think. Quickly, I just want to reiterate, thank you ever so much, Paul, for that little parcel, that little gift, those books. I'm going to head home now. It's 12:30, but I can never quite shut down when I get home, so I'll have a quick flick through some of the pages of that. But yeah, thank you again. Really appreciate it. Next session is a comp. We've got a species hunt. So any size counts. It's literally just try and get as many different species as you can. So hopefully I can try and make up for this session then and grab us a couple of fish. So on that note, until the next one, please take care, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you out there. Cheers.